We've talked here about what you call the cult or the cabal, and you mentioned earlier that the people who control the world at the top of the pyramid, you could get them all in a room. And I think you also said recently aliens are on Earth and are controlling it. So, what did you mean by that? And are you saying that these people who control the world are not human?
The people that can ultimately control the world are not human. No, I've been saying that since 1996, and funnily enough, with all the ridicule you get, ridicule from people that don't even bother to read what you're saying and the detail of it, um, a lot of them are now starting to go, hold on a minute. When I do look at this, it's an anti-human agenda. I mean, one of the agendas that's going on quite demonstrably is they're targeting farmers and the production of food. That's an anti-human agenda because um, the whole point of targeting food, targeting water, targeting energy access is a simple equation. What you are dependent upon controls you. And if you have abundance, then you don't have dependence. If you have scarcity, you have dependence, thus control. And so the idea is to massively reduce the amount of food being produced in the world. And it's happening. I mean, in the Netherlands, they are compulsory purchasing the land of 3,000 Dutch farmers in the second biggest exporter of food country by value in the world. Now that's massively so. And you've seen all these farmer protests all over Europe as a result of it in many countries now, including Germany. So it's an anti-human agenda, and I could go on and on about the other anti-human parts of it, but so it's less and less of a stretch for people to think that an anti-human agenda could be orchestrated by a non-human force. And people are they think about extraterrestrials or whatever. They think about people in spaceships and whatever. I'm not talking about extraterrestrial in the sense of in the world that we live in. I'm talking about other dimensional non-human forces that operate out of a dimension that's very, very close to this one and kind of fuses into it, called the astral in esoteric terms. And that's where this is really being orchestrated from. And I've done a series of books. One's called The Trap, one's called The Dream, the latest one. And I'm just closing in on finishing the third in the trilogy, which kind of describes the totality of this manipulation of humanity. And it starts with the cult operating in our reality, which is just a band of frequency and ridiculously small, goes into this astral dimension through with a non-human force, with all the detail, not pulling out the ether, and also about how the fact that this very reality that we're experiencing is a simulation.
If you'd like to make, manage, and multiply money and get access to my private channel for daily hard-hitting money-making tips. How I bought this Aston Martin, no money down, with other people's money. Go now to t.me/Rob Moore Official. It's my official Telegram channel. Every day I'm hitting you with content on making, multiplying, understanding money, and beating the system at its own game.
I was saying just after the turn of the millennium that this is a simulation, and the limit of the simulation at this level, there's other levels of it, the astral is part of it. The limit at this level is the speed of light. And it was April 2021, all those years later, that an article appeared in Scientific American, a mainstream science magazine in America, where an academic was saying that he believed that actually we are in a simulation, and the limit of the simulation is the speed of light, which he related to the processing speed of the simulation. And since I've been talking about this in the early part of the 2000s, more and more mainstream scientists have come out and said, actually, it does look like we're in a simulation. There was one just across the water from me on the Isle of Wight in Portsmouth. It was in all the papers in December, where he says that it is a simulation. It does look like we're in a simulation, and he thinks he can prove it. I've bought his book, which is very, very thin, interesting, but very, very thin. And mine are about that big, describing the details of the simulation. It's there to be seen if people only open their minds. And so if you, this non-human force is behind the simulation. So if you think that if you go on the internet and you go onto YouTube or something, if you have to, and put in words to get you a compilation videos of people wearing virtual reality headsets, and just look at how they respond. They're in a room, they may be in an empty room, they may be with one or two other people, and they put the headset on. And within seconds, they are responding to the headset reality. They're in a room with other people or on their own. It's just a game. But not to their perception, it's not. It's real. They're screaming, they're jumping around, they're falling over. Because in those few seconds and minutes, what is being fed to their mind through the headset has completely hijacked their sense of reality. And imagine if you have a whole lifetime, a human lifetime, effectively in headset reality, and everyone's in the same headset reality and confirming to you that the headset reality is real, well, you're going to believe it's real. But it's not. It's a simulation. The whole thing's simulated. And there's more and more scientific evidence to show that that's the case.